Hey guys, so I'm just going to show you how I do my acrylic brush flat. And as you can see, here are the items that I will be using. And here is, for example, the brush that we're going to need, some tweezers or some pinching tool that I got off of eBay, the monomer as you see here, and the dappen dish, and a clean, dry paper towel or something that doesn't give off any lint. And here you can see the shape of the brush that it originally had when I first bought it, and take a look at how it is a round shape. And I'm just showing you here once again the items, and the brush that I'm using is the Alpha brush number 14 round that I got for the first time. I've never used this brush before. And what I'm doing here is taking off the the amount of glue, special glue that they use to keep the brush bristles together when they pack it so that it doesn't damage the bristles. And basically I'm softly, very carefully removing that with my fingers, softening the bristles so that I can go ahead and soak it in the monomer. And it looks like I'm doing it rougher than I really was doing it, just because I had to fast forward the video because I took too long. It took a long process. It's a long process just to make sure to remove that glue right and to give the proper shape that I wanted, which was a flat brush. And therefore I had to do this several times, as you can see here. And after soaking it and getting all the bristles quite open and the monomer deep inside every bristle, I would go ahead and wipe it in a flat up and down motion on my paper towel. And each time I do that, I make sure to do it on a dry surface, on a dry area that hasn't been wiped off before. Here I'm putting clean new monomer in my dappen dish, and because this is now the monomer that I'm going to use to actually give the shape to the nail. As you can see, I'm again soaking it thoroughly, making sure all the bristles are nice and wet. And now on a dry new area of my paper towel and using my pinching tool that I got off of eBay, I'm going to start giving the shape, which as you can see already by cleaning it in that way, it's already turned a little bit flat, but I still need to modify it a little bit more. And this is just because I thought that it might be easier for encapsulating and actually easier for working the cuticle area, which I've already tried it, and yes, it did personally make it easier for me. So here, as you can see, I got the brush very wet, and I lightly dappened it on the towel. And now with my pinching tool, I'm starting off at the top and going slowly down to the tip of the bristles. And what I'm doing is, at the top is where I'm letting the pinching tool pinch with a little bit more force, and then as I go down to the tip of the brush, I do not let the whole weight of the pinching tool fall on the bristles, just because I don't want them to split open. See how it opens like that? If I were to leave the whole weight of the pinching tool, it would just make the bristles spread out too much. So what I'm trying to do is make my brush flat but not too wide. And as you can see on my pinching tool, there's an area that it starts off thinner on the point, and then as you go back towards the handle, it gets thicker. Well, that's how I use it. I push the thinner part on top, which is where I put the more pressure, and then as I go down to the tip of the brush, I use the thicker part to flatten it a little bit more even, and I don't let the whole weight of the pinching tool set on the brush so that it doesn't spread them out too open, because if you do open it too much, you're going to have gaps, and it's not going to be easy to apply the acrylic. It's going to be messy. It's not going to be even. So I'm just doing this over and over again until I get the desired shape. As you can see, it's much more flatter than the original. But as you can see, it's also wide. Therefore, I'm doing very light taps on the side of the brush to kind of pull in the brushes back into the center. Like I said, not to make it too wide. So I'm lightly tapping it on the sides and giving it form, but then again I go with the pinching tool so that it doesn't go back to a circular shape. And I just repeat the process. Like I said, I left some of this footage in just so you know how many times, and actually I had to repeat it many more times. So now that the brush has the shape that I want, I'm dipping it in the monomer, and then I don't remove all of the excess liquid. I just lightly tap it on the paper towel. And then I'm going to get something heavy. If you don't have a pinching tool, you can use your monomer dish if it's heavy enough. Your Deppen dish, I'm sorry, like I showed you there. And what I did was I left it overnight for 2 days, and during each day I would flip the brush over just to give it about equal amounts of time on each side being flattened so that it would flatten even. So then I see how I'm tugging in the sides just so that it doesn't get too wide. But you can see that the brush is now flat instead of round like it originally was. And so what I'm going to do now, and I'm going to show you, is how you can just put something heavy right on the tip. Not too heavy, because like once again, if it's too heavy, it's going to make the bristles completely apart, and we don't want that. I'm showing here how you can use different types of tools. That's the pinching tool, and I'm just kind of brushing the bristles in place. But you could do something like that where it's not too heavy, so that you don't want the bristles to spread open. So I'm just finding a good way to use my pinching tool, the heaviest part, which is that right there, that barrel. And I left it like that for about 2 days, like I said, and just gave it turns and flipped it around, giving each side a turn to equal flatness. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know in a comment below. If you like this video, it would make me very, very happy if you go thumbs up on it. And if you haven't done so, I would really much appreciate it if you subscribe. If you have any other videos you would like to see or any other questions, please let me know down below in a comment. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you in the next one.